See?
And we're back.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about
Yes, we do.
because
It's
the
going to be short form or long form?
short pause. No, long pause. I think it's going to be long. I don't know. We never
never
know.
know.
At
you
least
don't
I'm
know.
not sweating this time.
The
Yeah,
air's
oh,
on, thank
you.
God.
Thank you, Trina.
Trina, take care of us.
If you listen,
Yes.
we appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't think she listens. You might want to tell her.
We probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody. I mentioned it in the pre-show or post-show. I was pimping the
You were.
podcast.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a while. Then again, I've been out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're just glad you're
been,
back.
Scott.
Well, I've, as everyone who does listen, those 4 people, I've had a bit of anxiety,
Yeah.
and my doctor's been trying to help me, and I've been on 6 different medications in
7 days.
days,
Yeah.
and had kind of let's say a breakdown.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to
The
describe
good
it.
news is you're back.
Yes.
You're feeling better.
Yeah, I had a bad reaction to one of the pills. It was awful. Ended up in the ER, and but now I'm fine. I'm doing better.
I like the
Everything's
hand
good.
motion
Yes.
in case
Yes.
they're watching on YouTube.
Yes.
You
Yes.
are fine.
I'm giving the okay sign.
That's right.
Yeah.
We are so thankful.
Yes.
Yes.
Trust me.
Well,
You
but
think
hey,
you're thankful.
there's a lot of people that are trying to navigate that. And I'm sure there's, according to the doctors we were talking to, they were saying there's a lot of people struggling.
Well, and that was when I was in the ER. They were like, "Yeah, you are not the first person to come in with issues like panic attack or whatever." So.
Yeah,
right.
no, I get it.
It's real, dude.
Well, we got breaking news that kind of maybe, I don't know if it'll help.
Oh.
COVID-19 breaking news?
Well, we're not
we
going to
haven't
overdo
done
it.
it in
but
a while.
Yeah.
Let's do
see.
one.
You
Come
want-
on.
Let's see if I hit the
See
right
if you
button.
got it.
Good luck.
Oh, yeah.
COVID-19 breaking news.
Your governor has opened the state.
Yes.
To phase one.
Phase 1.
So everybody's asking, aren't they, Scott?
Yes,
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
wants to know.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We don't have a clue.
Well,
Yay.
we have scenarios.
Yeah, but this is the problem, I think.
Yeah.
It's because there's a lot of different people that have scenarios, and there's a lot of different approaches. And as we're navigating ours, the only thing that we're probably comfortable saying is we will not even think about reopening until June 7th, the first Sunday that would even be a possibility of
That's
opening
the
our doors.
earliest.
There's a couple of reasons for that. One being, we don't really know who's available to serve and what that serving will look like. So we're making those phone calls and those contacts to go because we're not sure it would involve kids or not involve kids. All of those decisions have to be made based on social distancing guidelines and the way you want to do ministry. So Christy A. and the children's people are going, now how are we going to do this if they're not going to stay 6 feet apart? Kid don't know to do that or not do that, especially the younger they are. So we were just discussing all that, and I said, look, we're not in a rush, so let's try to be safe, try to be responsible, and think through that side of it. As far as the convention center, we think we can make it work with certain amount of people, and we were mapping all that out. But it is a little silly in some ways because we're trying to go who gets in and who doesn't get in.
Right. It's tricky.
It's all of that is complicated. So, because there's a way restricted numbers, 25%, which for our big room makes us still have a pretty good bit, but still it's complicated. It's extremely complicated.
It is. And, we've got the call into them, and we're kind of waiting on word back from them that, of what they're willing to do and can do. And they're managed by a different company here recently. So, anyway, we're getting that process started, and the dialogue has begun.
Yeah, I think that's the other part. Like some people go, like I've heard other churches, and they're varying degrees on that.
Yes.
Like a Broadmoor, which they came out and said, no, we're not going to do it. And then I think they said Cypress said, no, we're going to do it. I don't know that there's a right or a wrong because I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. And I think everybody's trying to navigate the best they can. But I do think that the pressure for churches that have buildings and facilities probably is slightly elevated compared to ours in the sense that there's things you have to pay for.
Yes.
And so we're very thankful. If you are giving to the Simple Church and continuing to giving, it's a big deal because
you.
it's taken on some of the pressure off to go, Okay, we don't have to worry about that. We have very minimal cost of overhead to operate, which most churches, that's not the case. So we're thankful for that. But still, as we're moving forward, we're going, all right, what does that look like? And I know a lot of people are just frustrated and ready to see each other and ready to get back together. We had that Donna Zilska's drive-by memorial, and people were so excited to see each other. So I get it, and I'm ready to see people. Even our very important listener, Mark, he says, I didn't like y'all's last podcast.
Yes,
Mark
yeah.
didn't handle that
Yeah,
one
no,
well.
Well,
and he's
because-
not going to handle this one well.
No, he will,
No.
because it was all theory.
Right.
Everything I said, and again, it is theory because these are what people smarter and outside of our world of influence, not just a local church going. These are people that are going, hey, man, on the grand scheme, these are some scenarios that could play out. We don't know that those are our scenarios. We're going,
Right.
but what if that's the case? Shouldn't we be thinking that? Shouldn't we be looking to go, all right, God, what are you trying to accomplish and what are you trying to do? Because we definitely not smart enough to know. But I can say, I think y'all would agree, it's just going to be different.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think anybody would go, if you're every other pew or you're, because I'm going back like that, I am curious, which we haven't talked to Cypress. We can call Johnny, I guess, go. But I'm like going, how are you going to do kids stuff? Because I know daycares are in operation. But the reason I think a daycare is in operation because it is an essential thing for a working parent.
Well, and funny you mentioned daycares
Because that, when you think about it, I'm going,
Yeah.
I could see that, and they'd go, look, we got to work with it. But a church, I heard Joel Osteen, for example, on the radio coming in. He said, they've asked us not to meet. We're not going to meet.
right.
So it don't matter what everybody says. We just believe it's the safest, smartest thing to do to go, we're not putting them back in. So sorry, go back
Yeah,
to daycare.
well, I was talking to Christy A. yesterday myself also, and if you go with the daycare regulations, they're extremely strict right now.
Yeah, but what's interesting, we say that, but I drove by a daycare,
Uh-huh.
no names.
To remain nameless.
Oh my God.
No, I did. I drove by it. I mean, they're all out. They're playing on the playground. There ain't no restrictions.
Well,
And this is why I'm saying that is like, I'm sure those. Okay, I went to a not a fast food restaurant, but like a convenience store
a C-store.
to check out. See, you can tell I don't have my sponsored McDonald's cup. I have a different.
Why'd you do that?
It was just because it was easier.
You cheated on them.
Yeah, so I went by there, and the guy had his mask on his chin. I mean, it don't. I ain't hating. I ain't turning him in. I'm just saying, it's all. You know, there may be a guideline, or there may be this is
Sure.
what's going on. But if you think everybody is crossing every T and dotting every I, come on, man.
Well, just
Right.
like yesterday when I was at Sam's, I did the self-checkout. I'm touching the little thing, to scan my stuff.
and there wasn't nobody wiping it
No,
down.
there's
after.
nobody coming behind me wiping it down because a lady came right behind me that was shopping just like me, and she checked out. Nobody wiped it down. And
right.
only a handful of the employees were in masks. Most of them weren't.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam's. I may have sold you out.
Well, I'm just saying that I think we're all trying to figure out what the new norm is and how this is going to work. And so then you put in church, like, so every person that's there, we're required, like, say we're opening, just, I would assume it's mask required. Other than the preacher?
Surely you don't have to wear one.
No, but then I'm going,
think you
but
should.
what difference? I mean, but in some ways it's like, why do I get a pass?
Well,
Because you're protected by God.
Yeah, whatever. don't make me get stupid this early. I'm just thinking, I mean,
no, it's complicated,
because
man.
all I'm saying is that's the irony of all of it. It's like, well, because again, we don't know what's going to
Well,
happen.
let me just say this morning I listened to a podcast. You talking about the preacher being exempted or whatever. So the West Wing of the White House now,
What a
they're
mess.
all wearing masks
Well, not all.
except Trump and Pence.
yeah, and Pence is now, didn't he separated or something because his people got it? One of his
Yeah.
He's quarantined.
Yeah.
Several.
So what I'm saying is, we don't know. It's
Right.
all on. I was just listening to radio. We're recording. This is Tuesday around 10:30, and the Fauci's on there, and they're barraging him with all these. It's all a guess. One of the questions was right before I walked in here. Can you tell us? Will you have a rise in the fall? He said, guys, I've been telling, we don't know.
Right.
We don't know, but we would assume yes.
It would make sense.
It would, but so they were going. It's the same questions without answers because we don't know.
And I like how they try to hold you to it too.
Yeah, that's
Here-
what no.
here-
Oh, and then one of the no names, a guy says, "Can you guarantee?" Now,
Yeah.
how is this guy on the stand going to guarantee anything? Who is he? Is he God?
That's-
He said, "Can you guarantee?" And you should have heard Fauci. It was so funny. Yeah, and then it went to the FDA. There was somebody from the FDA that we are going to have a what's the word, like vaccine and that it would be free. And the guy goes, "How am I going to guarantee that?"
Right.
Like, it don't even make. But like,
I like how you patted your arm like a baseball sign.
I couldn't remember what it was called. I don't know if I have sleep
Oh.
deprivation. I'm just like,
I do think it's funny how they're just trying to back him in a corner, and he's just like, "Guys, this is the first time any of us have done this."
yeah, it just,
Yeah.
I will say they're trying
it's frustrating.
Well, they're trying to go off of the 1918 Spanish flu, is what they're thinking COVID may do. Which the 1918 Spanish flu did have a resurgence in the fall, and then they had it. Then there
I
was
like
a third
Scott bringing
resurgence.
like
I like
1918
that
talk.
song.
But then once again, none of us were alive back then. I don't think there may be somebody still alive, but probably not.
They
So,
wrote some stuff down, I bet.
Yeah, we'll probably.
Bet they sat down and had a pen somewhere. Right, Jim, we lost another one. Put a click down.
That's called history, right?
Everybody in 1918.
Why did everybody talk like
Well,
that?
why do when you watch old films, everybody's like in fast motion?
It's because
you
of
know?
the frame per minute.
That's right. Their voices were also different in 1918.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
But it is interesting that we are in this time and this is happening. All right, so we were talking. I mean, I'm just telling you, Fauci's on the radio right before we come in, and they're all talking about things that we don't know. There's
Yeah.
no guarantees. They're wanting guarantee. Give me a guarantee we'll have a vaccine. Give me a guarantee it'll be. And I'm sitting there thinking, some people want us to do the same thing. Tell us when we're coming back to church, or
Right.
Well, I don't think.
And I think it's probably just a basic human need for some stability. When you think about when you think about the last 8 weeks or what have you, it's like I don't blame them. I mean, everybody's just scratching for answers like normal. When is it going to be normal? And the truth is, it's going to be a new normal
Yeah.
for sure.
Because aren't they requiring, like, if you are in public, like a store, you have to wear a mask?
Right now, it is.
But
As the servers, or like if you're a cashier,
yeah, but not
or-
as a
not as a customer.
not as a
Oh, I
customer.
thought everyone had to.
No, they would like you to,
I
but the
coulda-
employees have to wear one.
But if you're coming to church, you would have to,
I think so.
unless it's outside.
I think that's correct.
Let's do outdoor symbol church.
Yeah, where are you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Now,
Now
the
go
only-
back to Cypress Lake.
Yeah, Chip would love that.
It's nice out there today.
Oh
It
yeah,
is.
it's beautiful right now. But
Just wait until mid-July.
that's the thing is, so we're working on it.
Speaking of nice weather,
Yes,
you were out in the weather last week.
it was not nice weather, John.
What happened, Justin? I think you need to debrief that experience a little bit.
Yeah,
You don't have to name names.
No, I would definitely name names because they're partly responsible. Partly.
Yeah.
Daniel Nelson called me and said, "I'm going to take the boys camping. Do you want to get in on that?"
That's where you should have
number
said,
one,
"No,
I
thanks."
never want to get in on camping. I'm not a big camper. Now, there's a reason I'm not a big camper. I think it's because we grew up with my dad, Jake
I
Leg,
totally agree.
ghetto, kind of halfway getting through this.
I appreciate you dialing that
Yeah,
back.
I mean, just we're in a camper with like a package of ding dongs and then a package of little wieners to eat. That's all you got. You got ding dongs. In the back of a truck with hot, and we're going to Holly Beach. Have you ever been to Holly Beach?
I don't even know where
Hey,
that
Don't
is.
ask. Down
Hey.
in South Louisiana, it's like
Oh.
mosquitoes the size of your hand.
It's so
Holly
funny you bring
Beach.
that up because that thought just popped in my head, and actually the beach we went to was called Dung Beach.
Dung. That's exactly what it was.
Was it on the Gulf?
Yes.
That sounds.
But this is
awful.
why. But my dad was about saving money or whatever.
Do you
So
remember?
that's what I'm
do you
saying. We didn't
remember
have
Mom's-
hardly anything to eat. It was just.
Do you remember Mom's
pitiful.
response to that whole situation?
No,
Because
I
this is
don't.
Adventures of Jut and Buddy, by
I
the way,
don't
a little
remember.
mini version. Yeah.
I
so
don't remember.
if I'm just going,
Hold on,
you
hold
were
on.
a lot.
You
Bring
look
it back.
so sad.
I
It's
know,
bringing back
dude.
bad
It was rough.
feelings.
Now,
You
this is-
imagine, like, we didn't have decent stuff. I'm talking about literally barely had food of whatever we're doing, a package of wieners and maybe a box of ding dongs.
Look,
and
this-
winging it.
This is no exaggeration. So we go down to this beach. We're
ridiculous.
sleeping in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah, not a tent on the. You ever been on the back of the
Okay.
Yeah.
bed?
Yeah.
All right. So
Not-
the
not-
mosquitoes,
Couple of
long time.
nights.
the mosquitoes were so big, they were like small birds.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Were they,
And mom finally got so angry because she was the red in the
Yes.
family. That's where we get it from, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
She finally said, "That's it," and we packed up and went to a motel.
Thank God.
Now, a
Somebody had
motel,
some
in case
sense.
you don't know, kids that are listening, a motel's where the door opens out to the parking lot.
Yes.
A
But it was-
hotel means the door opens out to a hallway.
It was much better though to be in a
I was
motel than the
excited.
back of the truck.
because we had air conditioning and screens and no skeeters.
So I got not great experiences in the past, but it's 2020. Things
Yeah,
have got to
things
be
have-
better in
yeah.
2020 when it comes to camping.
For the record, I tried to help.
I know you did, but when it comes to Daniel Nelson is Mr. Positive. He's going, man, this is going to be awesome. And for some reason, he loves camping.
I
He's
do, too.
always talking about it.
I do too.
I don't know why. So this is why I don't like it. Number one, it costs you more than you think it's going to cost.
Yes.
So when somebody says it's cheap or it's going to save you money, that's a lie. You got to go buy tents. And here's why I say you buy a tent. Daniel said, I got a nice tent. He brings that joker out there that me and him are going to sleep in. The boys are in a nicer tent. I had offered, and we were going to bring yours because Scott was going to do it. I was like, oh, Daniel, I've got a tent. We don't need to do that. His might have been, all the seams had melted together from wherever he had stored it in the 150-degree heat in his attic.
Oh gosh.
And then when the nice rainstorm came in, we had a little bit of weather come through.
You
Understatement. And I reach over in the night, and I touch the ground, and my hand goes underwater in the tent. I'm thinking, we got a problem. Now, the only thing that saved me in the tent was that I had gone to Walmart and spent $7 on a new inflatable bed, whatever
Right.
that is, a mattress.
Air mattress.
Daniel said, oh, I don't need that. I got mine that I've had or whatever. Well, about 2 in the morning, his is totally flat, and he's sitting straight up in the tent. I said, man, what's going on? Man, I got heartburn so bad, I can barely breathe. I said, well, did you bring any medicine? No, I didn't really think of that. That all this is. So I said, well, I did, Daniel Boone. You know what I'm saying? It's out there in the. So at 2 in the morning, we're going through that, and then the wind was blowing. That was another storm came through. And Daniel, the whole time, I said, Daniel, isn't it supposed to be bad weather? It's just going to be a light rain. It's going to be a light rain. So when that wind was blowing at 100 miles an hour before the storm came in, I said, we're going to be vampires. He's like, what? I said, them limbs are going to break off of them trees over us and pierce our heart in this tent. And we're going to be laying here dead when these people come up on us. Man, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, I did. So everything flooded. Everything got soaking wet. The rain continued all the way until noon the next day. So from about 5 in the morning till noon, it's just thunder, lightning, high winds. So all the kids, which do you think a teenager is going to respond in a positive way? No,
not likely.
No. So they're just standing there. I'm like, put your hands on something. We got to get this stuff loaded, Daniel. I guess we're not going to stay another night. Another night? You have no dry clothes. Everything's wet. Sleeping bags are wet. Tents are wet.
He said another night.
How you going to no, Daniel, we're done. He's like, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. And that was we had a cooking tent. So you have all this crap out there. Cooking tents. And he forgot the propane. We didn't even get to that point. wood. He got wood from your house because he was going to use green wood that had never been burnt and was going to just turn into a smoke pit.
Fresh cut down tree.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
Daniel's.
my
Daniel
gosh.
Boone was going to have that, and I said, "Man, that won't burn." What do you mean it won't burn? It's got a season. It's not. He don't even know. So we did get that. But this is the truth on that. I didn't even tell you this.
Okay.
So they get the campfire going over, and Daniel, it's daylight, probably 6:30. I said, "Dude, it's probably still 2 hours before dark."
It
'Cause
all
it's-
burned up.
That joker, he goes, "Ty, Caden, y'all need to start the fire or whatever." We burned up every bit of wood before it even got dark. The kids are having to go scavenge in the dark. I said, and then Caden's going, "Dad, you told me y'all burn up all the wood." I'm like, "Daniel, you told them to start it."
This is so good.
gosh.
That's all the
literally-
wood I had, man.
So, man, we found a limb, and all the boys had to drag this limb. They had like little toy hatchets and like a hacksaw. He brought a hacksaw, and they're cutting this stuff up and trying to put it on there. I'm like, God, why did I do this?
yes, that's good.
But the
stuff.
reason I did is because moments make memories, John, and it was a moment
son
with
was
my
there.
17-year-old son. But here's the best teachable lesson for Ian. He's soaking wet. He's cold. We almost all of our vehicles get stuck. I'm the only one that has 4-wheel drive. So my son's Caden has like a Honda, little car, like I don't know, it's like a Civic, but we're in mud, water. He don't know how to get out. So I said, "Look, I'm gonna walk you a path to get out of here." And he starts letting off the gas. I'm like, "Just floor it. Don't let off the gas, because if he lets off, he's stuck." So he's sideways. There's other campers out there.
This is
So that
so
boy-
awesome.
He's winding up, mud slinging everywhere, and he gets out. And then I'm like, "Ian," because I had to get the trailer with Ian's truck. Ian said, "I ain't driving, man." I was like, "Well, then get in." And, man, I had to floor it, slinging mud everywhere and getting everything out of there. So then when we get done, we're standing out there. Everybody's wet. It's muddy. Everything's going on. I said, "Ian, now you know why your daddy don't like camping." He was like, "I think I'm with you." Because there's no guarantee. Like, that weather was not supposed to come in that night. It was supposed to come in the next day.
Yeah.
It came in a night early because I was going to get out of there. My goal was I'll go spend the day with them, spend one night, and I'm gone. Get ready for Mother's Day. No, it got me. We all were together.
So, Scott, this past weekend, you and your parents went a different route.
Yes.
Where'd y'all go?
Beaver's Bend.
And what's up there that's very important? Cabins.
Oh, yes.
That's
You
the
didn't
kind
stay
of,
in a cabin.
No, we did
No,
not
no,
stay
they
in
were
the
just
camp.
driving
But
around. But
I
I've
will
been there.
say, Beaver's Bend is where I camp quite often. And here's
Like,
my...
hold on.
Yeah.
Who when you say quite often? Come on, man. Are you have to
Well,
every weekend?
I haven't
once a
been-
month?
Hold on now.
Oh, this is good.
Up until recently, when I say recently, past couple of years, but generally I went up there probably 5 or 6 times a year camping.
I like how he gave me a head nod.
Yeah.
I've never heard
but-
of you camping, and I've been around you quite a bit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
he
like
goes,
I'm an
yeah.
onion. I'm an onion. I just peel back those layers.
Okay.
But no, but at Beaver's Bend, unlike where you were, first
I
of
know
all,
Caddo Lake,
it's beautiful. It's
not beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the comparison.
Completely clear, nice water.
Can't see through the water.
There's padded tent sites.
No padded. Lady didn't even mow the grass where
Yeah.
we were going to camp. I said, "Daniel, is this where we're going?" He's like, "Dad." He's like, "Dad." Well, I just called. It was a good price or whatever. They didn't even mow the grass that we were getting.
Oh my god. Padded tents with water and electricity.
No water, no electricity.
Oh yeah. So
And we got free wasp. We had a grill. There was a grill there. And Daniel, neck down, grabs it and starts dragging it closer to the tent. This is when the weather was nice. And all of a sudden, I'm talking about these jokers start flying out of there.
You have any
And
wasp spray with you?
No.
no. Of course
They're
I
all,
knew that
they're all
answer.
running around. Ty jumps in the truck, slams the door, won't get out. I ain't getting out. And then I try to be brave. This is where I'm telling on myself. And Daniel, if he was here, he'd tell you the truth. I'm like, we go to the little hut thing, and we ask the lady, like, ma'am, you got like the murder hornets are out there on that lot. Thank you. I got Japan murder hornets trying to kill us out there. And I said, "Can I get some spray or whatever?" And she looks, "Spray?" We're like, "It's your grill. There's murder hornets on our lot, which you didn't mow. But we ain't getting into that. Oh, she goes, oh, and I need the extra 30 for tomorrow. This is where the money comes back in again.
Oh.
So we paid nearly $100 for that experience.
Yeah.
Give me a break. That's just for the lots and everything.
$30.
It was $30 a night, so I think it was $60-something or whatever.
Oh my god!
But anyway, I ain't even getting into all that. We'll go back. So we get the hornet. She does find some spray. We go out there and we kill a few. But then there's always that one that he snuck away, and then he's coming back he's going to make somebody pay. So I said, that's me and you, buddy. So I took my hat off, and he had thumped Daniel's head. He came and said, ba-dunk. And Daniel said, that dude just thumped my head. I said, tell him to come get some of me. And Daniel wishes we'd have videoed it. But dude, that wasp squared up on me. Have you ever seen
No.
Dude, I'm talking about, you can ask Ian and them. He levitated in front of my face like, I'm finna come get you. And I'm like, well, then you want some of me? Let's go.
Oh my God.
So we're going at it back and forth. This is true. Like, and the next thing I know, I'm flat on my back. I am laid. I don't even know. It was like somebody punched me in my face, and I'm laid, and they're all hysterically laughing.
I would too.
Oh.
And Daniel goes, I've never seen a human do that. And I don't know how I did it. Still this day, we don't know. I was upright boxing this wasp, and the next thing I know, I was flat on my back.
Oh.
Wow.
And we went back later, and my handprints were stuck in the ground where I landed on
What? Why'd you fall?
Well, we didn't know at the time, but while I was airboxing him, there was a big rock. And that wasp knew that. And he kept pushing me and coming a little more at me, and he drove me back, and I fell. But
Did you get the wasp?
Oh yeah, because he kind of flew off, and I had to shake it off because I was like, being punch drunk, literally. Like, what in the world happened? So I said, "Where's that spray or whatever?" So I just sat patiently because they always come back.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they do.
So all of a sudden, I think one of the boys said, "There he is, Mr. Justin," whatever. I said, "Oh, he's mine this time." So then I sprayed him, and then I talked to him while he died as he spun around on the ground. I did. You can ask him. I said, "That's what you get right there." And I talked to him. You know, have you ever seen in those movies where the murderer or like
yeah.
what did we just see? Oh, Rhythm Section. This girl, she talked to him while he was dying. That's right. I'm bad. I did the same thing. That old.
It must
wasp.
run in the family because in my house we have a wasp problem every spring, and they start doing their thing, and I'll start saying, "I'm gonna kill your kids, your uncles."
Oh, yeah.
I'm just calling them out and shooting them out of the midair.
Yeah.
It's very fun for me,
Yeah. Well, it was a little rough for me. And I mean,
but I don't have any rocks in my yard.
no,
so
man. When I went down though,
I bet
it was shocking.
you
I
thought
mean-
that wasp had took you out.
I don't know what happened. I was like,
I picture this 1930s boxing match between you and a wasp.
but
and it's
most
just great.
wasps do not do that. They kind of
He
go
was
and
special.
He said, "I'm going to eyeball this one,"
Mm-hmm.
and he did.
And he took you down.
and I took him down. I told him to
You
send
did
him
win
straight
that
to
battle.
wasp hell.
Yes.
He went to wasp hell. He's in hell. Promise you.
Well, I am definitely not a camper. I'm a cabiner.
It's just.
If I'm gonna be in the woods, it's gonna be in some enclosed, air-conditioned, climate-controlled,
They are
wood
nice.
plumbing
Yeah, we didn't have any
piece
of
of
that.
equipment.
It was. I'm done with that. I mean, it was.
Check it off the list.
No bueno.
Memories made.
I think Ian has agreed. He's like, that's it. We're not going to do that. What I know. All right, let's get back into.
Yeah, I'm sorry I got you distracted
No,
there.
that's all right. So
But-
what else y'all got? You
But it
got
does
anything?
kind of tie in though, because you talk about preparation for camping.
Oh, God.
And it goes back to us preparing to re-enter back into church life. There's a lot that goes into it. They do
Yes.
kind of tie together. You have to think through what are you trying to accomplish. So,
Yeah.
like if you need a tent, you need charcoal, you need propane, you need wasp spray.
You don't leave the propane at home.
Yeah.
Daniel. Yeah.
So same as, we were talking about a minute ago about trying to get ready to go back to normal, quote unquote, which who knows what that is. Yeah, we're really trying to research and think through that and listen to experts, and so yeah.
And it's going to be interesting, like in the church world. Like, you're right. All this preparation's got to go on. But it's also interesting when you've done it a certain way a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're being challenged to look at that differently. A lot of people don't like that. So you want to go back to what you know and how you've known. And that brings me to,
Oh,
look, I got my readers on
he
now.
got his
Oh,
he got
I
his
like
specs
this.
on.
So listen at this quote.
Listen at it.
If you limit your future ministry to in-person gatherings or over-focus on in-person gatherings, you'll over-invest in a method and you might just miss the bigger mission.
Hmm.
So these are people smarter than us are going, wait a second, guys, maybe it's changing. Maybe it will look different. And again, we don't know this. I'm not saying that we are or we're not doing one thing or another. We're just trying to go, well, because this was an interesting statistic I did hear, and I think multiple preachers are saying this. But when it may have been Outreach Magazine, it may have been some, I don't remember, because I was doing reading, trying to see these different people. So I can't for sure confirm my source. I looked at about 20. That the more people more eyeballs are on church services than any other time in history.
Right.
Right now. Not before this, right now. And their point was that the online availability gave more people an opportunity to watch and engage than any other time in history.
Yep.
So then you go back and go, so when you just go back, just go back to church. That's what we were discussing. We don't know what that'll look like because some people, depending on, everybody's wanting a poll. Like Brian brought up, maybe we should poll everybody, and I'm not so sure about that. But here's my reason why. What does the poll give you?
Nothing.
Well, maybe something, but I'm
no.
going,
That's a little dramatic.
here's my point. If it comes out and they say, we're going to do whatever, that's the way they feel when they took the poll,
Right.
based on the information they had. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems as if that information is changing daily, if not hourly. So something could change that you make a very important financial decision on or whatever, and all of a sudden it doesn't pan out the way it was based on getting someone's opinion in. Where I'm going
Right.
back, to me, it's like, all right, God, lead us, guide us. Yes, we're going to pray through that, but try to make the best decision you can, not based on what people are saying, but based on what you believe as a group of people and people smarter than you outside of it is the best calculated decision that you can make. Now, again, can you ask people, a poll is being done by Christiania of going, are you in or are you out? But that's a direct conversation with the person to engage them, not an anonymous, I'm not. It's like, hey, man, are you in or are you out? Would you be willing to serve a donut? Would you be willing to eat a donut? You could still do all that, but it doesn't matter if they change the rules tomorrow and you go, no, you can't serve them, or you should, or if a convention center change it. You're just giving them false hope in some ways. You're like,
It's a little premature.
you're
right
muddying,
now.
you're muddying up the waters.
But like where a
know
poll
what
is
that
helping us right now, though, is this Church Pulse resource that we're tied into that Carrie Newhoff does, is every week they are surveying us as leaders, and we are in it, in the information, and they're asking questions like, when do you think you'll be back in a live service?
And you said, I don't know.
No, yeah. But
This is my
No,
point.
really, no. It's very interesting because when they first started, which was right early in the crisis, their answers were extremely optimistic. They were like, by Easter was the first answer. So you have to remember, this is mid-March that the crisis started, and they had churches. A lot of churches said we'll be meeting by Easter. Well, that didn't happen, and then it was we'll be meeting by May. Well, obviously, as this information develops, they're moving that date further and further out. So that's an example of where I guess that information could potentially help you check yourself on, am I crazy to be thinking that we should or shouldn't be doing something at a certain amount of time? Because you've got a large group of people that are agreeing or disagreeing.
Yeah, I'm saying, but those are leaders of organizations that you're trying to figure out. When you go to your parishioners, so if we put a poll out, because we might, I'm not saying we won't. I'm going, what are you really wanting to know? Because, for example, this is what's silly about it, in my opinion. So if we put this poll out there and we go, are you willing to come back or not? Well, everybody is, I would bet it's going to be about the same thing that everybody else is saying. It's about 50-50.
Yeah.
So to put it out there, you can confirm or not do that.
Right.
But my point is we're not even really ready for that. We would have to figure that out either way. You'd
Yeah.
have to come back and go,
They'll vote by their presence.
yes.
So I go back to I think you're on the right track whenever you started with key leaders, staff,
Yes.
specifically,
Going, "Hey, man."
and then you said, hey, you talk to your top people and start dialoguing with them about their comfort level based on the information we have today. And I think that's really where we are, just in case you're wondering, as a listener out there, is we're in the discussions with the people that make the church happen on Sunday morning.
Right.
And that's where it needs to start, is with the people that coordinate the volunteers, that, set up and tear down, that coordinate those people, just so that we, let's say June something does happen, in theory, that, you can't just turn that on overnight. It has to ramp back up, and you have to re-equip the people and make sure they're scheduled. And there's a lot of work that goes into making a Sunday morning happen.
Yeah, and that's why I go and I could be wrong on this. That's why I think you have to be thinking differently. I don't think you, and again, I could be dead wrong. I just don't think you think back to what does it take to get back in this building. I think you have to think, what does church look like in the next year to 2 years to 5 years? Yes, the building may be one component, but it seems to me to be that there's a lot of energy and effort on that side of which eventually will be there, and we'll have to figure that out. But what my fear is, not a fear, but like concern is, is if you're not trying, and this is just the nature of the beast, if you're not trying to think beyond that, you never will think beyond
Right.
that. All you'll focus on, and you'll get your head right back down into what you're
Sure.
doing, is going, well, how are we going to, Chip's already doing it, like this morning. So are we thinking we're going to do whatever? And I'm like, Chip, we don't know.
Right.
Because it's the urgency of the
Tyranny of the
yeah,
urgent.
I don't remember. I got a lot of sayings in there that don't make any sense. But
Tyranny of the
yeah, so it's kind of like, well, if that's coming, then I'm going to shift. I'm not going to worry about trying to make this better or to do this differently. Let's just
Right.
go back to what we were. Where I'm going, it isn't a unique opportunity to really evaluate how you're going to do those things and the better way possibly to engage people.
Well, and some of that's already happening because,
Sure.
the online tool that we're using right now has turned out pretty amazing. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback. I've gotten to see some of them myself. That's awesome. So I think that will be ongoing at a whole nother level that before we actually had to do this, there wasn't a huge amount of people watching it. There were some. But now everybody had to watch it. It's their only option.
Yeah,
So-
but and I agree. I'm just saying though, but if we don't, here's a great example. Okay, if you got a guy, Chip,
Mhm.
or you,
Mhm.
and you're going, what are you focused on?
Right.
What is your priority? And you're going, a room with a third to a quarter of the people, where 3/4 of the people are watching online. And you're going to go, I'm going to let that product, and this is what he's trying to figure out. I'm going to let that product suffer because I got to get the room set up and I got to have that ready
Right.
for the quarter. And I'm going, and it's the same with Christy A. She's trying to figure out the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like, how do you, and I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong. I'm saying that that's the difficulty of trying
That's
to
attention.
navigate it.
It's
And
definitely attention.
Well, and it's going to be, it's kind of like we did in Simple Church. If you don't adjust, and if you're not willing to change, you will be irrelevant.
Right. I think the hope for us over maybe some other situations out there is that we naturally are outwardly focused anyway. So some of these opportunities that we've had to serve or what have you are not odd for us.
Yeah, but here's what I'd say. So because I would agree, but this
Mm-hmm.
is where I'll go back. We're horrible.
Okay.
I'll give you some examples that we're not.
Wow. That's
Yeah, and
self-critiquing.
it's just reality.
He said,
I mean, I think y'all are gonna go, yeah.
okay, bring it.
I totally agree.
You don't even know what he's going to say.
Scott's an idiot.
Hey, but for the record, though, while I have a chance to speak, I do love the idea of the community gatherings that you've mentioned before that Carrie Newhoff has talked about, where it's instead of having the building, it's in the communities and they're meeting in people's homes and you're getting to know your neighbors and all that, and that may be the future.
Okay, so it kind of
I
goes
love
along.
that.
And I think we would admit this. We're really not good at it. We are, by the sheer numbers of people who attend versus what I'm about to say, we're not good at it.
Okay.
No one should be able to out-relationship the local church. Now that includes online as well. Think about this. You have a life group, and so you're skewed in your view.
Yeah.
The majority of the people that attend the Simple Church are not involved in a group that we built or that we are facilitating. The vast majority.
Sure.
They are at a level of, I'll watch that, and that's good. They don't necessarily give to it. They don't necessarily make that other commitment to say, hey, I'm going to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason if you fight to go back to what we were already doing and you miss the opportunity to change that, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
So my point is, while you have the ripple in the water, the uncertainty, you had best be trying unconventional things to see if you can get those people to take that step to go, man, I'm going to engage. Now, I threw out this to staff meeting this week, and I will probably stick to my guns come May 24th when I speak on this. At bare minimum, at the lowest level, the thing that we all could do and should do. Now, obviously, my family can't because we're both doing the service. But to check with people and go, will you invite one family or one friend over to watch the service together and then do lunch together afterwards? That would double, triple, quadruple the engagement and relationship in the Simple Church that has never existed.
Right.
So if you could accomplish that, and why would happen is they don't have to try to meet somebody different. It's like, dude, it's Scott. If so, like, you've had Scott to your house and y'all watched and you ate and it was a good time.
He was a guinea pig.
Well, and it wasn't even really thinking that. It was just
No.
more like, hey, man, I don't want you to be alone. Come on over and do it.
Right. It was because I was lonely.
But what we want to know is, so like a Mark Perkins. So he's a good buddy. He's trying to figure out, I just can't believe I need relationship. Well, then you're already meeting with, he's already in the office with his coworkers or whatever, and he's social. Well, why wouldn't we try to go, well, dude, it don't have to look just like it did. It doesn't have to be that you go sit in a pew in the dark or listen to a song or listen to a sermon. You could do that in your home and maybe be more impactful and longer lasting than anything you've done in before. Better than a Sunday school class, maybe even better than a small group of 50 people or 30 people. Or you're just going, no, man, try to get them to get to that place where your best chance to do that is by not meeting.
Right.
Because it has taken away their availability to see them. So if you try to meet, oh, and why don't y'all do this? Like, I ain't doing that. I'll just see you on Sunday at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever, 8 o'clock. I'll go do my thing and I'm going to go home. Where if you're, and I'm going back to not strangers coming into your house, just the relationship of, hey, man, I know you. You want to come watch at my house? Or you want to come eat lunch or you want to come do dinner? And like Amber, which we've had different life group, Perry to Daniel to, I mean, everybody's tried to figure all this out.
I did it for a little while.
Yeah. Life groups. It's the whole point is never before that I have seen in my recent memory have neighborhoods come together like they are now.
That's true.
So seize that opportunity and go, dude, I'm not worried about you coming back to church. I'm worried about you creating something in your neighborhood that lasts beyond coronavirus, that there is a connection now and a way to make that connection that has the spiritual component that we want to help you on that journey. So that's informal. Dude, here's the reason why. We started Simple Church saying a couple of things. It's not about your clothes, because church was about clothes. Well, in your neighborhood, it won't be about what you wear. As long as you wear something, you're there. You know, it won't be about the structure of the building intimidating people or too big or too large for them to navigate, or where do I park, or how do I get. Dude, it's your neighbor's house. It's right there. It's like, hey, man, you know where I live. You've been able to come. It's not about it's weird, it's strangers. It's like, no, it's your friend. So that's not a stranger. So it's through that relationship you go, hey, dude, we're going to be eating at the house, man. Love for you to come over. And then you try to structure that to help those people make that connection. Now, here's where I could see it long term. Does it, like Mark's fear or anybody else's, oh my gosh, you're saying that, we're never having church again. That's not what I'm saying. If you go back to the New Testament, and if you go back to the way things were, in adversity, in difficulty, the church blossomed. It wasn't because they ran back to what they did.
Right.
It was because they got innovative and they created new ways to accomplish things, including, I remember talking about this 20 years ago in like China, and when the church is oppressed and all these things are going on, how it flourishes because they're getting innovative there and they're finding ways to navigate the circumstances to further the gospel, to have the relationships. So even the persecuted church and all that. Well, it's very similar. We're not persecuted per se, but we are inconvenienced, and it is a challenge to be different, and it is a way to look at things differently. And in some ways, it probably would be more rewarding for people. They would probably walk out there and go, man, that was a good day.
Right.
Because, man, I got a message. I could sing if I wanted to sing, or I can listen to the music if I want to listen to music. But I think what we say, and I think what we believe, and I'm saying that sarcastically, is that it really is about relationships, a relationship with God and a relationship with people. So if you can create environments that relationship flourishes in and is easier accomplished without the obstacles, you might just be more successful.
Yep. And I think
Like he just went, everybody's just like,
no, I mean
I love that idea.
yeah.
That's just me. I personally love
yeah,
that.
well, nobody's emailing us, but email us and
Actually, no,
take
we
a poll.
did.
We got an email?
What?
Carl's wife.
Oh,
Carl.
there you
Well,
go.
Carl, okay, here's a great example. Carl's wife, Susan, and Donnie and Lisa. Hey, man, get by the pool and watch it and eat, and then
I'll
maybe
be there.
invite maybe one other. It's more natural.
Right.
There is a connection that's naturally happened. And then here's the next part of it. So before anybody says, oh, my God, I believe it's in the Bible, somewhere in the back half. You ready for this?
The back.
Oh,
It's in the back.
dear.
That's the New Testament. That's the New Covenant. Where two or more are gathered, I am there with them. So you think that was just like he was throwing that out because he was worried about the church being too big? Or do you think they were throwing that out because there would be times where we're tripping out and trying to figure out the other side of it? Because here would be the extra little caveat. Because you got something you really want to say, you're going to be able to say it. And I'm saying,
Oh boy.
say that was the new way the church went on.
Uh-huh.
Not saying it is, but just say that's something that's happening or something that does happen. I would say that 4-6 times a year, you do big, large corporate gatherings where all those people come together. Say there's no pandemic. Say there's no way. You go, dude, let's come together and celebrate that as the corporate church that it is. Because truthfully, that's why Easter works. That's why Christmas works. Is because people go, dude, that's the one time I'm going to go to be a part of something that you can't get in your home or you can't get in any other. I was like, I want to experience something unique. So you plan that. You go, hey, man, we're going to have X amount of gatherings. You're never going to change Easter in the sense that that's the big holiday. Now, if you'd have told us that we'd never meet on Easter, none of us would have believed that.
No.
But if
Not
you'd
at
have said, like, well, we're going to do that by neighborhood gatherings and there's 100 or 50 or 40 and these things, it could have been done differently depending on these numbers. I say that because the government right now is in control. You are doing what you're doing right now because there is a limit on what we can do.
Uh-huh.
So say that continues on. They go, dude, you really can't. We don't foresee a number above 250 getting together. That would dictate how you do it. And you'd go, we better get creative. We better get innovative. We better figure that out. Or just, I'm being arbitrary saying, oh, that's 50 people or 100 people.
Right.
Well, that's the thing that we don't know. You can't say right now, oh, that won't never happen. There's a lot that's never happened and never happening. So I'm saying you better be going, all right, how would we do that? or what would that look like, or what is a way to do that? And who knows? You know, you can just go back and do your songs and sing and bye. See you next week.
Here's what I say about that.
Okay, good.
All
I
right.
like this. I don't know how far we're into this.
Yeah, what mark are we
Well,
at? Do the math.
47
Yeah,
minutes.
we got plenty of time.
So I don't think that's totally crazy in the realm of ideas of having a couple of couples over and watching the sermon on Sunday morning. I think the future is going to be a combination of all of it. I think there is going to be a percentage of people that have found church worldwide through the interwebs that will continue to find church that way, and it'll work for them, and it'll be a great fit. I think there will be people that, if they were to adopt this idea that is necessary right now because of the coronavirus crisis, they would love to just keep hanging out at their household with 2 or 3 couples, and that would be church for them, and that would be great. But then I think there's another group of people that really do value coming together corporately, worshiping together, serving together, and making that available for people. So I guess my takeaway for all of it is it would be awesome to me if all of that was available, and there were various options based on personality, life stage, circumstances,
Well, and I think
availability.
and I think it will, because it is.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying that, I think the challenge is everybody knows the other.
Mm-hmm.
You've done it differently, but they kind of know the other. I think the downside to the other, which there's positives and negatives and all that you've created in the American culture, you get it and you leave. You check in and you leave.
There's an energy to it too, though.
Oh, sure. I'm not saying there's.
Yeah. I mean, because I know.
Good Lord, I've done it for 13 years
Yeah,
in Assembly
yeah.
Church. I mean, I get the. I'm saying I'm not disagreeing with that, because I'm not saying your house church from here on out and everybody gathers, because
That's what it sounds like, though. If you're not careful. It's,
because I'm telling you that across America, all of the research is showing you that the generations behind us. So this is where you're going to be a dinosaur, or I'm going to be a dinosaur, or you're going to be I'm pointing to all of y'all on YouTube.
All y'all.
It's because the pandemic happened and God allowed it to happen for a reason.
right.
So if I'm trying to evaluate or look at what are his reasons for allowing it to happen, some theorize, well, it's because they're going to value church more than ever and they're going to run back in droves. I predict now that ain't going to happen.
It may be initially,
No, I'm going to go to 9/11. Remember when we were at 9/11?
but initially, like for 2 or 3 weeks.
But the difference between 9/11 and now is what? You can die. You couldn't die in 9/11 back then. That was people in New York. So everybody ran to the church. But now, read I'm saying, it's like senior adults now.
Uh-huh.
They're going, ugh. So my big fear for senior adults is that they're lost in the mix.
Right.
If there's not a strategic plan to involve them or engage them or help them make connections that are safe for them,
Sure.
they can disappear quickly.
Yeah, well, like I ran into 2 senior adults while getting lunch one day. They both go to Simple Church. They recognize me. I'm sorry, I don't recognize
They
them.
probably recognize you from the big
Yeah, they
screen.
might
On the big
recognize
screen.
me
You're
from-
on the big screen.
But I was telling them, so I asked them, I said, what do you think? They said, we love the online product. So I said, well, will y'all come back? He said, absolutely not. He said, the reason why, though, is he said,
boy.
I'm elderly, I have diabetes, and I'm overweight. He said, I'm at risk. He said, so I can't put myself at risk. He said, my wife wants to come back and volunteer, but he said, I can't. And the same thing for the other lady, too. It's like, no, I can't
See, I think
come
it'll be
back.
50-50. Because I think you're still going to have – I mean, trust me, if there's anything that I would say that I have been known for – I'm trying to be careful in what I say this – that I have been known for or criticized of or appreciate is the fact that I like big events. So if anybody would be on the opposite of this, I would be the one. I mean, dude, I love Easter. I love a big
Right.
party. I love when we did water. I'm like, let's go to Watertown. Let's make it bigger. So it's not that that's not what I like.
Right.
I'm going back to the realism of the world that we're going to be in and what the future looks like. So as that goes on, I would even say that because the pendulum has swung in 13 years of multiple campuses, single campuses, no
Sure.
campus. It's like it's because in this generation it's changing very fast.
Right.
But the one thing that I think people are built for and that they need, and the reason you're saying that what you're saying, I'm saying it would happen in a different way. You're going, well, they want to serve together. Well, they'd be serving together in a different environment.
Yeah, but I'm going to here's a comparison, though, to help you kind of look at the restaurant situation. Okay, so you've got all these curbside availability. So the food is still available. But what is it about going to a restaurant that makes it more special than taking the food and sitting in your car or taking it home?
I don't have to put it in the trash can.
No, so the social aspect.
Exactly.
No, okay, but hold on. I'm gonna challenge you on that though. Okay, so no,
I
you're
know where you're
right.
going.
It's
on
the
this.
environment.
Yes, and what I'm saying is it's the same thing that I'm saying before. It's the way the environment is done, partly, but truthfully, it's who you're with.
Right. But it's also that there's other energy around you.
And
Which makes your
And I'm
experience
telling
better.
you that the church and a restaurant is a perfect example. There ain't 1,000 people eating anywhere.
No,
There's not a 2,000 people.
but it's not
eating.
3 couples either.
No, but my point is, and this is why I'm going back to it, is if you don't make the church smaller in some ways,
Sure.
it's not going to work. There's a long term, there will be some hindrances to it being able to accomplish what it wants to accomplish. I'm saying that in our environment, we were already experiencing that before the corona
Sure.
hit.
Absolutely.
So, and what would happen is people were refusing to change. They're refusing to adapt.
Right.
And I'm telling you now, you got a chance to adapt.
Oh, yeah.
If you run back to the norm, in some ways, you're going to miss an opportunity that you only get at this time.
Yeah.
So then creatively, that's what I was saying before, if it's regional, a regional gathering where you're creating that, if it's down to 200 people. The irony is when we started Assembly Church and we did like the Tinseltown location, we had 500 people and thought it was a failure.
Well, it was just a financial failure.
But it wasn't just But it wasn't just a financial.
Well,
failure.
no.
The real meetings that were going on were probably just not worth it.
Well, okay.
Matter of fact, I'll even challenge you on that.
Okay.
You had one of your largest givers at that location that you lost when you shut it down. The largest giver.
Yeah.
You did.
Wow.
That's a fact. And that's where I'm a part of the decision too. So you can't ignore that in that point. We just were going, we were blinded, or the times dictated what we thought was right or wrong, because it wasn't a bad decision. It was what we did at that time going, well, that's probably the way that we should do that. This is what we believe. Now,
But
again,
it came down to cost per seat is really what we were.
I know.
Cost per
Yeah,
seat.
cost per seat.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the irony of all
I
irony
understand what
is,
you're
is
saying.
you lost an influencer,
Right.
a great Christian guy that was
Sure.
invited. But the reason he came is it was in his neighborhood.
I understand.
So it was going back to, man, hey, we're in this world. So I'm going back to, I don't know what the future holds. I'm just thinking, all right, God, what are you attempting to challenge us to do? Because here's the thing. If it's a numbers thing and you want a large gathering, eventually there will have to be a determination of what that number is.
Right.
Because it's still going to come back to cost. Why would you rent convention center if there's 1,000 people coming?
Sure.
It's the same principle. So then you go, well, in the new world, if when you gather back together and they don't come or they do come, or you're trying to figure that out, you would be trying to go, all right, how are we going to accommodate meeting those people? And more than likely, it's going to be a change of the way you do it.
Here's the good news for us, though.
Yes, we're flexible. We ain't got no buildings to worry about.
That's exactly right.
No, and that's why
Yeah, I mean,
get it.
like whether it's convention center, what size room you rent,
Yeah.
if you go to a different venue. I mean, that's, people ask me, like, how are y'all doing? Like, honestly, we're doing really good.
because you don't have to worry about that side.
Honestly, I mean,
Amen
you've
on
already
that.
mentioned it once, but like the givers are fantastic as a part of the Simple Church, but also we're in a unique position to do just what you're saying, which is to adjust to the reality of the times. And I love the challenge of thinking through what's next. And I love the fact that we're not forced
No, you're
back
not.
into our building because we spent all the money building it. Because I do feel for the churches that honestly don't have that option. They made a commitment 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe last year of investing millions of dollars into a facility. They can't have these discussions
No,
because they have to get the people back in that building or it makes no sense.
exactly, and but the reason I'm saying that is exactly that is
Right.
to go. If you're listening to this podcast and you're a part of the Simple Church, or you are not, you're an outsider. You got to be thinking about this.
Right.
If you're not thinking about it, it's kind of silly because you're missing something that has happened in no one's lifetime. It's like the big revolution. This is like the big challenge of navigating how to impact and reach people in the future. And I was going back to, and we're almost out of time. I don't know
Yep.
if we are.
Well, I mean, we're at.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we had a technical issue, so we had to
So
start.
to
So
explain why he's
it's
pausing.
50. We're at 58, 59
Yeah,
minutes.
That's
he's
fine, we're
having to
almost
pause
done.
because we had a little break. We had a technical glitch, so
The
he's
board
doing the
froze
math.
up.
Right.
Yeah, the board.
So,
Also, not to take away from this because I want you to finish your point, but when you're done and before we wrap up, I have breaking news.
Okay.
okay.
So all I was going to say is the one thing the church is notorious for, when I say big church, big C, is that we sometimes, very often, don't look at the younger generation. So we kind of go, well, we're it. It's us. And I don't want to be that guy. So if I'm smart and I'm looking at the younger generation, they're telling you. Now, again, the pendulum can swing. So I'm not saying you put all your eggs in that basket.
Right.
It's not like you just go, well, I'm just going micro churches, small gatherings, more intimate, whatever it is, a different way. Now, I'm not saying like our method, we believe in our method.
Right.
But maybe it's the fact, and I threw it out there before COVID that I was willing and ready to try something differently. And everybody's like, oh, he may be nuts again. I'm like going, why am I nuts to try something?
People
Because
don't like change.
because people and we said when we started the Simple Church that would not be us. So I don't want to be the guy to go, well, we just always done it that way. We're not really going to do that anymore. We're not going to really try that. And who cares if it doesn't work? You just go, dude, that didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, man, we tried that, but that was horrible. Or this. So in some ways, now is the time. But you got to find the people who are willing to go, dude, I'll risk it. What do I got to lose? It's not like I'm going. You're not banished. You just come back into the big group, or you go,
Right.
hey, let's try this and go. Let's give it a 6 months or a year and go. Hey, is this working or is it not working? Because if it does, and again, you won't know until you try it. Then you'll look back and go, man, that was wise.
Yeah, and to be fair to the people, the governor just released them to try this experiment.
Right.
You were shelter in place.
Oh
and-
yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm preparing you on podcast before we get to the because when I say it, just like you, there are or whoever,
Oh, boy.
they got to have time to process whatever it is. So if at level 1, phase 1, whatever this
Phase
thing
one.
is, you go, look, you're not ready to come back to the building because you're scared of your health. Invite somebody to your house that you're comfortable with.
Right.
That should be your phase 1.
Yep.
Okay, and then if you go, well, if you're okay with that, well, then be willing to, like we're talking about doing small gatherings of possibly like a certain age just so they can see each other again.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's a middle age, hey, we're going to Chimney V's, we're going to rent it out, and the first 50 that sign up, it's just so that you can see people because until we get back as a church, whether that's singles or whether that's volunteer groups, like, hey, preschool, we're all getting together, our setup team, hey, let's meet at this place to eat. Well, that's something that right now you don't have.
Right.
Other than dumb Zoom. You know what I'm saying? It's better than nothing, but it's not.
Wow.
Come
Hey,
on, man.
If anybody's listening to that is in charge of Zoom, we didn't mean
No.
that. It's a great product.
It'll do. But let's be honest. Hell, it's staff
That's
meeting.
funny.
Every one of us have walked out of staff meeting going, That's just okay.
Hey, it
Well,
met a need.
That's what I'm saying. It meets a
Right.
need, but it's the same way. It's just not. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going back to. But I'm thankful we've had it because you can connect and you're able to get by with it.
Right.
But it ain't the same. So
Right.
as soon as you're able to get in the room, you're like, oh, everybody laughs and it's a dynamic happens. It's the same way as online. It's okay.
Right.
But I can tell you, if you have a couple other people in there, watching a football game's okay by yourself, but it's different when you have some friends over.
Sure.
Or watching a NASCAR, you can do it, and you can take a nap. You can take a nap by yourself or with your friends. That's NASCAR. It's like a group nap or a single nap.
That's weird.
Picture. Bunch of guys and recliners around the TV and
That's
NASCAR.
weird.
I was just throwing it out. All right, Scott, what was your breaking
News, Scotty Waddy.
You keep giving us big eyes. By
Yeah,
the way, when
something's
we're
going on.
we're in the
Sorry.
middle of all this
I had
big
to
discussion.
put mine
Sorry.
face down.
Here's what happened. I got my DNA results back.
Oh boy.
And
That's why.
Come on.
hold on. So first off,
Wow.
that
If you're a
don't
new
know,
listener, yeah.
you turned in an ancestry.
Yeah, this was 5-6 weeks ago, I
I
guess.
think Angie was really
Yes.
encouraging this.
Yes.
Because we wanted to know where you're from, and you said you were going to be what?
Well, first of all,
No,
hold on. First of all, the reason why this is a big deal
This is
because
huge.
I'm adopted.
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't know. I thought they told me I was Italian, German,
Who
and Native
is they?
American. The adopted folks. My papers. Remember having
Oh,
the
yeah.
You
papers?
got papers.
You got
Yeah.
papers that say you're Native American?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Are you ready?
At all.
And then I said I'm probably Italian and I'm probably French.
you
what I
keep
said.
saying that you're
Yeah.
French.
What
You're
are
100%.
you?
I am not French. Are you ready?
Or
Are you ready?
Native
Here
American.
we go. This.
Wait. You just wait, sir.
You got a little Native American?
I got Native American.
Come on.
I don't know anybody with
I
Native
am
American. I'm
66% England, Wales, and Northeastern Europe.
That doesn't
Yeah.
shock me.
Yes.
16% Ireland and Scotland.
So we're relatives.
9% Sweden.
Sweden.
8% German Europe.
Okay.
Okay.
so-
And 1% Indigenous Native American.
Oh, look at there.
We got a little engine with us.
Yep,
son.
and-
I love that.
you know how I said I thought I came from South Louisiana? Nope. Alabama.
Alabama.
I'm
Sweet
part,
home Alabama,
I'm
baby.
part of the North Alabama Settlers Group.
Wow.
Listen, man,
Yeah.
let's get a round of applause.
Yes.
So you're really probably from England, like you're 66%
Yeah.
chance. That's
Yeah,
why you
and
have
then-
that British
and
accent.
and another nervous, exciting news: it has matched me with people who I have DNA matched with,
Oh, you got to tune in next podcast
Yes.
for that.
and there is one guy that kind of looks like me.
What? Hold on, let me see. Give me the-
Uh-oh.
I got my readers on.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Hold on,
There we go.
Kind of looks like.
kind of looks like me.
Yeah, he does.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I got to see it, too.
Wow, not kinda.
Come on, man. You can't tease me like that.
Oh. This is
Yeah.
weird, man.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I'm telling you.
Might be a brother.
Now it says
Wow.
it's third, fourth cousin.
Doesn't he kind of have some
Yeah.
resemblance, though? Well, of course he does. He's got the same DNA.
Of course he does.
It's crazy.
He ain't Indian
That's
either, though.
one of your Talladega brothers right there.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently I'm from Alabama.
That's right. You have 1,034 people in your linked tree.
Wow, that's a lot of folks.
That's
Daddy got around.
I can't believe you got the results in.
Yeah,
man.
that's when I got all big-eyed because
I
all
was
of a
sitting
sudden
there.
it
I
went-
kept trying to look at my phone like what something was blowing
yeah,
up.
No, it was like,
Yeah,
oh boy,
big eyed
Oh, you got a lot of DNA matches.
yeah.
son. Uh huh.
Uh-huh. See?
That's a cousin though.
Yeah, you
She's kinda
can't date
cute.
her.
She's a second cousin.
That's still not cool.
You can date her.
You don't date second cousins.
Just don't
You
have no
can.
kids.
Oh,
Could you?
No.
I don't know. That's weird. That made me feel weird saying that. Out loud.
66 England, Wales, Northwestern Europe, 16 Ireland, Scotland, and 3 other regions. Isn't that interesting?
1%
1%
indigenous, and
indigenous.
Native American.
Man, that is so awesome right there.
Dude, that's cool.
I got just
Congratulations.
enough.
That is.
Thank you.
Oh man, isn't that boy? Angie Harris is.
Yeah,
gonna
I will.
Be,
I will call Angie as soon as
she's
it's
gonna
over.
be.
Yeah.
awesome.
And Paula. Paula's gonna be excited.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we'll end on.
That's
right there.
a
Yeah.
no better way to end than
No.
that,
There
buddy.
you go.
There you go. Thanks for listening.
Until next time.
Tune in.
Peace.
Peace.
You know what?
You don't have any music.
I think in the freeze, I think
You lost
it got rid of all the music.
All right, I'll do it for you then. You ready?
Hold on, no, I got it back.
Oh.
Well, that's good.
All right, here we go.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
gonna do it for you.
That's all you got.
Yep.